Good evening everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry if you can hear Yoli licking her Kong. It's not the nicest sound, she should finish it shortly. But as you can probably tell, this is a slightly different kind of video today. I have spent the last couple of days being very unwell. I've had a horrible flu bug. I know there's loads of nasty things going around at the moment, and in my last video I spoke a little bit about burnout and how I was feeling a little bit drained, and I think this is just the physical manifestation of it. I think it finally hit me, and in a way it's been kind of necessary. It's forced me to kind of switch off and just have some downtime, which I definitely have just needed to do. I can be so bad sometimes at actually doing it. But yeah, I thought today we could just have a cozy evening together. I've got a repot that I've been wanting to do for such a long time. Honestly, I have just been willing this plant to be ready to be potted up because I am so excited for it. But also I wanted to take this as an opportunity to chat to you about some things that have been going on behind the scenes that I haven't been allowed to talk about until this point. So yeah, I've got lots of stuff that's been going on, so many things that I'm excited to share with you. And yeah, just like a few general bits and bobs as well. So yeah, that is the plan for tonight. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learnt over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And yeah, so that is the plan for this video. I've also just noticed that my fire's gone out. I have definitely not mastered the knack of a good fire yet. But yes, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So I don't typically do planty things, hello sweetheart, over here in the living room, just because firstly I've got a lovely planty space to be able to do things in now, and also it's carpet. But I've brought back the potting mat, which a lot of you will be very pleased to hear because I know I've been getting grief in the comments about not using my potting mat. I thought I could just sit here with Yoli by the not so fire and just, I don't know, I just wanted to be cozy and I just wanted to be on the floor somewhere that was more comfy. Although I'm seeing now that this might not be the best choice because other people might want to get involved. But the plants that I've been very excited to pot up is my Musa Florida variegata. And I've shown you this one a few times in videos recently because I've been propagating it in sphagnum moss, and the root system is absolutely incredible. That's Yoli having a drink. But I got this one from Downtown Plant Club just before the end of the year. I think it was like beginning of December I got this plant, and it was the one out of every single one that I ordered that was looking a little bit battered and a little bit beaten up and just not that happy when I received it. And I don't know why, like the Musa, I've heard people say it's a very hardy plant, and I've never personally had that. Yoli, what are you doing? She's walked into my watering station. Come here, sweetheart. I have never personally had that experience with it. I've always found it a little bit temperamental and a little bit finicky. And so the variegated variety, obviously, typically variegated plants can be a little bit more temperamental and fragile when it comes to the elements. So yeah, it wasn't looking great. I made the call to pretty much completely chop back the root system that it has, just because it was looking very sludgy, very brown, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it into my cabinet. Obviously that's got good light, good heat, good humidity, and I'm gonna put it into sphagnum moss and just see what happens. And it was a very quick one to respond, actually. I was really happy. Within, I think, about a week, it was giving me a brand new root system, and I was like, ah, that is just kind of like a phew moment that I've made the right choice. And since then it has been giving me so many leaves, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just think it's time that I moved it up a pot size. So I'm gonna get it out of sphagnum moss, and I've decided to go in with semi-hydro. I've been asking you guys in the comments what you think, and I've had so many mixed responses. So I've been on Reddit forums, I've been watching other people's videos, and I think semi-hydro is probably a good way to go. This is just a chunky soil ninja mix that I'm going to use, just because I know from just growing this planted sphagnum moss that it is such a water guzzler. I feel like semi-hydroponics is going to be a good option for it. And if it's not, I can always change things out. But oh my goodness, I've just lifted that straight out of its cup and the roots are crazy. And just because I'm going from an organic matter to a non-organic matter, I do need to make sure that I get all of, or as much as I possibly can, of the sphagnum moss off the roots, just because otherwise it's going to be much more prone to rotting. And like I have said, this feels like quite a temperamental plant, so I'm going to just try and get as much off as I possibly can. And just before I start that, I'm just going to give the fire a poke and give it one last try. I think just because we're heading towards spring now, which obviously is so exciting. Oh, oh, that's a fire lighter, that's cheating. Yeah, I think just because we're heading towards spring now, I just am like, I want to use the fire so much because it's so nice to have, and I want to make the most of it before it gets too warm. But as I say, I've got lots of things I wanted to talk you through today, and I actually wrote them down just because I've been a little bit head foggy over these last few days, and there's certain things that I've been wanting to talk about for a while and they just keep slipping my mind. But the first one, and arguably right now for me one of the most exciting ones, is that I am going to be on the next season of ITV's Alan Titchmarsh's Gardening Club, which if you haven't seen season 1, go and watch it. It's such a brilliant show, and I'm so excited to be a part of season 2. I'm going to be a regular across the series, so I will be in episode 1, which airs on Monday the 10th, so the next Monday. And if you're not in the UK, I know a lot of you have been asking me over on Instagram where you will be able to watch the show. I can see options online. I'm not sure how ethical or legal those options are, so I have reached out to the producers and I've said, can you let me know what the best way to do it would be? So I will let you know as soon as I know. But I do think, as much as I have loved doing it, honestly, I've had such a blast doing it, I do think the timing of everything is perhaps one of the reasons why I've been feeling a little bit knackered recently, because the filming for this has crossed over with me moving house to the point that we were actually filming for the show the day that I got the keys for this place. So it was hilarious. If you're on my Patreon, you'll know, but we had the whole flat packed up and ready to go, and Ross running up and down the stairs doing boxes and stuff, and me in the living room having to keep everything looking exactly as it usually is, and not like we're moving at all. And yeah, and then the second they'd left, I was like, go, and we had to pack all the plants up and get everything out very quickly. So it's just been a little bit ridiculous. And then also, I think we'd only been here for about 4 or 5 days, and then they were back to film some more. So it's just been, honestly, it's just been the craziest time, but it's just been so much fun, and I feel really proud of what we've done, and I think it's going to be such a fantastic show. The other really exciting thing with it is that it is, primarily it's outdoor gardening they focus on, and as you guys know, I have recently moved to a place that's got a garden. I don't know anything about outdoor gardening at the moment, but I feel like my algorithm is listening, like my phone's listening to me. I keep now getting shown lots and lots of things about outdoor gardening and ideas, and me and Ross have been chatting lots about it, and our brains are just kind of running wild with all of the things that we could do for the garden. And I know in my last video on my channel, I was saying that if at some point I start doing a little bit of outdoor gardening content, would you want it here on this channel, or would you want a separate channel? And the general consensus seemed to be that you would want it on this channel, but just as a very clearly separated thing. and that it didn't take away from houseplanty content, which honestly I can guarantee it never will. Houseplants are my one true love. I can't see that ever dwindling. I'm excited to get into outdoor gardening, but I don't feel the passion for it yet. I feel intrigue. I feel a bit nervous about it, to be honest, because it is such a world of unknown. But me and Ross have been chatting about how we might do things and how we might make it work, because he's also really keen to get involved with the outdoor gardening side of things, and I would love it to be something something that the two of us do together, because we are both complete novices. It's venturing into a world of the unknown. He's very keen to grow lots and lots of things that we can eat and cook with, and I absolutely am as well, but I'm also really keen to kind of make it really visually beautiful. Like I'd like to have beautiful flowers, and we've actually got some bulbs that are popping up at the moment. But yeah, and like we spoke about so many ideas earlier. And so what we are thinking is we might try and do it at certain times of year. It might be more, and at other times of year it might be less. We're not going to kind of like commit to any kind of schedule, but I think we're going to try and do like an episode a month or something like that. And I think probably the first episode we're going to give you a tour of the garden, just show you everything, show you what we're working with, show you what's growing at the moment, what the lighting's like, our thoughts, our plans. Ross had a great idea actually about both of us going away and like having a drawer up of our individual ideas and plans and then showing each other. And I was like, I love that, because although our views for things like visually typically align quite well, we do have quite contrasting views at like certain points. So I think we would both come at it from a very different point of view, and it's not like one of us knows way more than the other, if that makes sense. It's just going to be a massive, massive learning curve. So yeah, that is our thoughts on that, and something that we both kind of like casually started talking about, and then we were like, oh, this could actually be really exciting. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think especially because, as I say, we are coming into the spring now, and it almost feels like it happens overnight, doesn't it? It's absolutely crazy. I haven't been sleeping that well these last couple of nights, so I haven't been very well. And I woke up, I think at about 5:30 yesterday, and our window was open, and I was just listening to the birds, and I don't know if it's because we're kind of more out in the middle of nowhere here than we were before, but it was like someone was playing a soundtrack. It was the most beautiful, beautiful thing. It was just amazing. It was like I was in, you know, when you have those like 360 soundscapes, it was just amazing. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to sleep with the window open always. I can't wait to wake up to this every morning and like, dawn chorus, sound of spring. It's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And it just makes getting out of bed that little bit easier, doesn't it? The one thing, crazily enough, that I haven't done is just go and sit in the garden in the sunshine with a cup of tea yet. I haven't done that yet. So yeah, in the next few days I must make time for that, because it really is feeling so gorgeous at the moment. But we've also been doing lots and lots of things around the house. We've actually just had understairs storage put in, which might sound like such a lame thing to be excited about, but it means I can get the cupboard of chaos going. And I must say, I'm looking at it right now, and it does look like chaos right now. I have not organised it yet. I've got plans to organise it. I really would love to make it a space that is just functional, practical. I look into it and I can just see where everything is. I'm not very good with things like that, but I've been very lame. I've been making Pinterest boards, and I've been looking at lots of like organisational videos and all these things that I really hope I can bring to the cupboard of chaos. So if you would like to see a video of that coming together, I will either be doing that over here on YouTube or for Patreon, but I will definitely give you a tour of it once it's all done, because I'm hoping it's gonna just make my life so much easier. So yeah, it's been cupboard of chaos, general understairs storage. We've just been doing some like decorating. We have been decorating the bathroom as well. We went with kind of like a lime wash green colour for the bathroom. and I'm not convinced. We've spent such a long time doing it and I'm just a bit like, I think maybe when we've got some art up on the walls and it's feeling a little bit more, I don't know, less like a box, because like, I don't know, unless you're lucky enough to have like a huge big bathroom, bathrooms are often just a little bit boxy. I think when it's got some personality to it, to bring the green into its own, then maybe I'll like it more. At the moment I just go in there and I'm a bit like, oh, it feels like wicked. So yeah, again, I know a lot of you have been asking when I'm going to do a house tour. I will be doing a full house tour at some point soon. I would love to do like a full house and garden tour and just show you everything. But bearing in mind I've only been living here a month, I would just really like to get things, not like perfect, but I'd really like to get things to a point where I'm like, I don't know, there's things to show you that I feel are kind of complete, whereas there's still areas of the house that are, oh my goodness, like an absolute bomb site. We've got this spare room, kind of office little room, and it is just sky high with boxes. Like there's nothing that's been done in that room yet. So I would just like everything to have a rough shape to it, and then I will show you. I would hope that will probably be in the next month. We're kind of nearly there in a lot of areas, but to be honest, the reason that we got in and kind of pulled everything together so quickly in this space, the downstairs space, is because ITV were coming back so quickly and I was like, oh my god, it needs to be presentable. But yeah, actually doing the film across the move has been quite a cool thing, because I've been able to speak a little bit in the VTs for ITV about acclimation, a few things that I've kind of touched on YouTube, but delved into in a little bit more detail on ITV in some areas, just because they asked me questions that I wouldn't always think to ask myself. But it's been a really lovely collaborative process actually. They've just been such a wonderful team, and they've really allowed me as a creative like a lot of freedom in what we put out. Like they've kind of said to me, okay, we think these ideas would be really cool, what do you think about that? And then I've kind of gone back to them, and it's been a complete conversation, and we've really moulded and created it together. So I haven't seen it yet, I haven't seen any of it, and I have no idea how it's going to come out. But yeah, I feel excited about it. So as I say, Monday the 10th, ITV1, ITVX. I will leave all the details down below, and I will let you know when I know more about watching it outside of the UK. But then the other, in fact, quickly on house stuff again, edible garden wise, this is another thing that I'm going to give you a tour of hopefully in the next couple of weeks, because oh my goodness, we've been doing so much in the kitchen. This is indoor edible garden, some of which I feel like can absolutely be transferred to outdoors. Like for example, I had no idea how easy it was to grow garlic and spring onions. You literally get garlic, put it in water, and within a couple of days it will have rooted and it starts sprouting. Same with spring onions. We had some old ones that were kind of a bit dried up in the fridge, and I was just like, oh, I'm just going to put them in water and see what happens. They've rooted and they're putting up these huge shoots. So we've got them, we've got some mushrooms that we've been growing. Ross got some grow bags online, and we've got blue oyster mushrooms, pink oyster mushrooms, and yellow oyster mushrooms. In fact, the blue ones haven't done anything yet, and I'm not quite sure why, because the other ones have already been ready for a harvest. In fact, I had the yellow ones for dinner tonight, and oh my goodness, they are delicious. Ross made this marinade that's like maple syrup, chili, garlic, like Mexican spices, and it kind of tastes like vegan pulled pork. And so I had that in a wrap with some cheese, and oh my goodness, it was divine. It was so tasty. If you are a meat eater looking to cut down your meat consumption, honestly, I would say oyster mushrooms in a good marinade in the oven or an air fryer or something like that, they come out so nicely. But then yeah, we've got bay, we've got kumquat, we've got basil, we're doing herbs of all sorts. We're also very lucky in the sense that we've got so many rosemary and sage bushes outside in the front garden, so we're going to try kind of like, I mean, we can absolutely do some propagating and transferring of that to the back garden as well, but I'm kind of excited to do some infusing and like, I don't know, fun things with herbs. But yeah, edible garden is coming along very nicely. I will show you all soon. I just want it to be a little bit more completed before I show you things. There's lots more as well that I want to plant to potentially put outside. I've had so many thoughts about things, but again, I feel like edible stuff is going to have its own video, so I won't say too much more on that for the time being. But then the other big thing that I have not spoken about on YouTube yet, I know it has been announced on Instagram, but I haven't really done any chatting about it yet, and I don't know why. I think my brain's been busy. But I'm going to be doing a show garden this year at the RHS Malvern Festival. And if you've watched my channel, I went to Malvern last year. They had the Festival of Houseplants. It was just wonderful. Honestly, it was hands down my highlight of the summer, if not the whole year last year. I had the best time. I did make a video on it. I made a vlog, which I will link down below. If you want to get a sense of the festival, go and watch that video. And if you are considering booking tickets, honestly do it. If you are a plant person, no matter how new, whether you're into indoor plants, outdoor plants, I can promise you, you will have the time of your life. It's just so much fun, so much fun. But yeah, I've been selected to put together a show garden, which is so exciting. I'm making mine with Ben from Worcester Terrariums and the team from Grow Tropicals, both of which, as in team and Ben, both of which are absolutely incredible. They are just great people and so creative, so talented. And I feel like we all come at things from really quite different angles, and the piece that we're doing is called A Reflection of Nature. And again, I won't give too much away. There is a photo that's been released online, but I'm not going to give too much away. I'm just going to say that we are displaying what can be done in a home environment versus how things would look in their natural habitat, ways of growing, ways of being sustainable in your growing, different mediums, different environments, microclimates, things like terrariums, aquariums. We are so excited about it. It's just going to be such an awesome project to get my teeth into. And then, yeah, it's going to be open to the public at Malvern. People can come and have a look around. I'm going to be there for the whole of Malvern, so I'm obviously going to be like just there having fun as well. Like, I'm not going to be by my show garden religiously the whole time, but we're also going to be doing a talk while we're there on the houseplant stage about our show garden. I'm also going to be doing a talk with Emma Good Growing, who is also doing a show garden. It's so exciting. Honestly, all of the best people, or just great people, are going to be there doing fun things over the course of the festival. So yeah, it's just a wonderful place to just meet and connect with other planty people as well. Like, I met so many wonderful people last year, and I think as well, a lot of the time, as a plant person, I know I'm like in the position where I put myself out, like my face out in the community because I create planty content, but I do firmly believe that this would be the case even if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, and I know that it is as well because I've got friends who are not content creators. But it is just a wonderful place if you are a little bit nervous about meeting people, or you don't really know what to say or where to start. It's kind of just like going to a plant spot on a major level, but there's space to breathe there. Like, there's little pockets where you can like dip off and just like go and have quiet time and just wander around and look at things if you want to. And there's art and there's good food and good drink, and just it's just the most wonderful atmosphere. It's like my idea of the perfect festival. It's just awesome. So yeah, if any of you do decide to go, do let me know. Like, ping me a message. It would be so lovely to see you there. Like, it was just the best. It was just the best last year. Also, I've got, God, this is very tricky. I actually thought this would be easier than it is because some of these roots are quite spindly. I've got quite a lot of the moss off. And what I'm going to do in a minute is I think I'm just going to go and give the roots a rinse under the tap, just to try and get the rest off if I possibly can. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's root and what's moss. Do you know what I mean? I also appreciate this is not the best light I'm doing this in, so if you're still watching, thank you. quite nice sometimes to not get my light box out or wait till the sun's shining or anything like that and just set up and go. Yoli's taken herself off to bed, I think. And when I say bed, I mean my bed upstairs. She's got an orthopedic mattress just next to me here on the floor. She's got her own bed upstairs, but no, she always chooses a spot that we spend time in. I think she just likes the smell of it. Okay, fab. So I'm gonna go give them a rinse off and then we can pot it up. And I haven't washed up yet, so I'm just using a normal bowl filled with water so that I don't contaminate the roots with anything in the sink. And the moss, luckily, seems to be pulling away quite easily. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So it's about 90% of the moss removed, and I think that's as good as we're gonna get. There we go, and I'm gonna use a transparent pot just so that I can monitor the roots a little bit better. This one looks really, really dirty. I think it's just kind of calcified around the side because I have used it for semi-hydro before. Also, I don't think calcified is the right word, but you know what I mean. I do have a feeling that this one is going to grow very quickly now that it's got going. So I might even need to repot it again quite soon, but I prefer to start with a slightly smaller pot and size up. I don't know, just size up more frequently as opposed to overwhelming the root system with going in with something too big. So this does feel like the right choice. And I think soon as well, I'm probably going to have to transition this plant out of the cabinet and into my main space just because it's going to outgrow it. It's getting so big so quickly. But there we go. That was nice and easy. And then I can just put it into a cover pot such as this one that has no drainage. And then I can just create a little reservoir at the bottom of that pot. In fact, I can use the water I've got here. There we go. And hopefully that one will adjust nicely and it will keep growing beautifully for me, but I will keep you updated with it. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me for this late night repot. As I say, I've been wanting to share all this stuff with you for such a long time, and it feels really nice to be able to finally talk about it. So I'll leave all of the details for everything in the description box below in case I didn't explain it very well. There's a chance I didn't. I've still got fever brain, so yeah, hopefully that was vaguely coherent. But if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.